hear me now? I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want to ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
We are back to a normal schedule, and that is great. Look, I love having games on Thursdays and on Thanksgivings at a different time, but I must say, getting back on a normal schedule is great, and I got my buddy, my pal from Roar of the Lions UK, Ant-Man Anthony. What's going on, man?
Hey Mike, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family and everybody. Hope all that went well for you. I'm good. I've been getting my ass kicked by illness this last week, but I'm just on the other side of it now, and I'm about back to full health. So I'm just grateful for that. I'm not wearing my Sidious robe anymore this week. So positives and all.
And a big positive, he does take medication for his sickness. It's called alcohol. I've seen him drinking it, so he's taking care of it, folks. So in the comment section, show some love to the Ant-Man. We got Lions Gangsta, Paul Ginda, Weston Lion Johnny. We got 9 drinks in the building. Chrome, what's up, Chrome? And, of course, we got John Kapler all the way in there, ready to talk some Detroit Lions versus Jacksonville Jaguars. But before we get into that breakdown a little bit, there's some news going out there. It looks like Jamison Williams and Romeo Okwara are potentially not playing on Sunday. Ant-Man, thoughts on that? Dan Campbell came out yesterday and says it seems like a long shot.
I know it's teasing at this point, isn't it? I'm just so desperate to see Jamison play, but if they don't think he's quite ready yet, then he's not quite ready yet. So we're just going to have to wait. I'd rather him come back 100% than 95% and get something wrong with his rehab. So it's disappointing for both of them, but I assume we'll see them the next week after, because their window to get elevated is closing after next week. So it's season-ending IR after that, if not. So I hope that we'll see them sooner rather than later, but Jameson is worth waiting for, so I will wait very patiently for him.
We're getting close. We are getting close, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen in Jacksonville. And that stinks, because I'm like you. I wanted to see it, but at the same time, you got to put the franchise before what I want. And if they believe he's not 100%, don't put him out there. I want 100%, not 99.9. I want 100%. Don't need a setback with only 6 games to go. That would be terrible for sure. Also news, James Houston signed to the team. They put Christopher on the IR, Charles Harris there. What do you think about signing Houston after he had a big game on Thanksgiving with 2 sacks and a fumble recovery?
Yeah, he's been waiting patiently for his turn. I've been waiting to see him. I loved it when we drafted him, and it's kind of disappointed when they cut him, but I always knew he was going to take time to develop as a pass rusher, and to get it right at the NFL level. He drafted in the 6th round. It's going to take time, but you saw just in little glimpses what he's capable of the other day. He's called the problem for a reason, because he loves to live in opposition backfields and cause issues for quarterbacks. And he was melded to Josh Allen in this one, who's probably one of the hardest QBs to bring down in the entire NFL. So he just showed you a little bit of what he was capable of. And, it's testimony to the Lions. They've sort of stashed him away in the practice squad. They're training him. They're getting it right with him. And hopefully we'll see him a little bit more now, because there are a few guys in that edge room who, let's say, are done there, and their time is over and his time is now. So it's good to see him on the roster, and I look forward to seeing more of him going forward. He played really well.
100%. And it's testament to Brad Holmes and his draft capability, because we're getting production out of players you never thought you'd get production of. Doing pretty good. So I'm really happy with what's going on right now with their young players. Year 2 and year 1 players is not all about the rookies, year 2 as well. And I can't wait for next year's draft. And that brings me to my second point. The Los Angeles Rams are in free fall as Cooper Kupp. He's going to probably not play again. They got another player who they sign in free agency. He's not playing. Their number 2 wide receiver, who they picked up for the Chicago Bears. Aaron Donald, high ankle sprain, unlikely to play. Probably going to shut him down. Same with Matthew Stafford. Right now we're sitting at the 3rd pick in the draft. And we're literally a half out from the number 2 pick in the draft. Thoughts on the fall of the Rams and what it means for the Detroit Lions to potentially have a top 3 draft pick?
This is why you wait to have to see how an entire trade pans out. Because when the Rams won the Super Bowl last year, everyone was like, "Oh, the Rams fleeced us. We didn't get nothing from the yada yada yada." Well, look at how the tables turn in some of these deals. I think Brad Holmes knew it better than anybody. They were stockpiling players and giving away picks for a run instantly. And what happens to teams when they win a Super Bowl? Usually they will show regression. Now, did he think they probably show regression on this scale? Absolutely not. But, we were always going to have to wait for our end of the bargain with this trade. And, we've been able to do a lot of good so far out of it. We've got Iffy. Hopefully he's going to be fit and play again soon. But we were able to play around in the draft last year, go up and get Jameson because of the picks. And this year, it's provided the most perfect scenario of all for Detroit. This has. Our young guns can go out and win games without worrying about bloody well tanking and draft position, because another team is doing it for us. So we can go out and win as many games as we please, and we're still probably going to pick high in this draft. So, this has worked out to be incredibly good for both the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions. It was a great trade by Brad Holmes. You don't hear anyone saying, "Oh, I wish we'd had the Panthers pick in that year now as well." That's the instant gratification route. This route is going to work a lot better than that Panthers pick ever would. You've just had to wait to find that out. But I love it. We're in the best of both worlds now. Our young players go out there, get wins. Someone else tanks for us. It's perfect.
It's a great season. It really is. You look at the Green Bay Packers, absolutely falling off a cliff. Chicago Bears gotten some issues. The Lions second in the NFC North. The Rams full on suck right now. It's good. It's good for our Detroit Lions. But we do got a game on Sunday. The Detroit Lions are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, the 4-7 Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the assumption is, and you'd think this, that Jacksonville's easy win, blah, 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 blah. We're going to go in there and we're just going to smoke the Jacksonville Jaguars. But that's not really the case. They have been playing better as of late. Trevor Lawrence looked really good against the Baltimore Ravens. I was watching that game a lot at the red zone, and their offense is not that bad. 16th in points per game, 9th in total yards, 13th in passing yards, 9th in rushing, and they're +2 in the turnover differential. They're better than the Lions on that. Very similar in the Lions' offense. On defense, they're better than the Lions' defense. 15 total points allowed, 24th with yards allowed, 25th passing yards allowed, and 16th in rushing yards allowed. Couple players there you got to pay attention to. DeJuan Smoot, 5 sacks. Josh Allen, 3 sacks. Trayvon Walker, who they picked with the first pick, 2.5 sacks. Aidan Hutchinson's a bust. That's what everyone said. Aidan Hutchinson's a bust yet. He's doing better than Trayvon Walker, and he's doing better than Kayvon Thibodeau. Just FYI, it's not a gimme game. What do you think about this game, this matchup, Lions offense versus defense? What do the Lions got to do offensively to take advantage of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, I mean, you said it there, Mike. This is not a gimme. We all sort of maybe looked at it at the start of the season and went, this is maybe one I'd fancy to win more than the others. But you've got to appreciate that the Jacksonville Jaguars are exactly like us in a way. They are a fairly young team who've had a lot of draft picks in the last few years, a lot of high draft picks in the last few years. And, they've got a good young core in that side. They have their franchise quarterback, which helps. And, of course, they had a shed load of money in free agency last year, which is something we didn't have, which has allowed them to sort of supplement this team with a lot of, quality in terms of veteran talent on there as well. So it's got a very good blend of everything. It's got a good blend of youth. It's got a good blend of experience. And again, it's a franchise that's learning how to win games. It's got very experienced coaching in Doug Pederson. He's been all the way to the Super Bowl. You saw him. He's got no fear. He, went for the 2 points against Baltimore. He said, look, I ain't settling for overtime here. I'm either going to beat them or I'm not going to beat them. And look, massive win for them there. So, they're a team who are full of confidence. They are going to be after that. They're young, they're energetic, got some good talent in there. It's going to be very tough for the Lions to win this one, but we are at home. I have full faith that our offense is going to be able to put points down on them. Again, this is a team that they've got good pass rush. They got players in there specifically for that, but there is a vulnerability in the run game when it comes to defending against the run, and I feel that we're going to get Jonah back, which is going to help. We struggled without our guards, but Jonah back's a big help. I think that we're going to be able to start running the ball a bit better. Jamal's still playing well. Swift, I don't know. Maybe after the end of that game, maybe he has found his balls and is willing to still play for this team. So, I think it's going to be a case of we just need to really get on and do what we're best at. It's running the football. It's killing that clock as best as we can on there and putting Goff in the favourable situations to go after this defence. But I do fancy the matchup for us here. Like I said, this defence is all right. It's nothing special. There's some good players on there, but there's no reason that our run game can't do a lot of the heavy lifting in this one and take the pressure off of Goff and take the pressure off the depleted receiver core.
And injuries, Jeffrey Okudah is going to be back in this game. He's in phase 3 concussion protocol, good to go. Jonah Jackson, the offensive line, be back in this game as well. That's a big help because that was a detriment on Thursday. I think for the Detroit Lions, we got to pass the football actually in this game. Generally, I say run the football, but they can be had on defense in the pass game. They're 25th passing yards in the NFL. Jacksonville Jaguars defense with 248.1 yards per game. Jared Goff has got wide receivers. You have Josh Reynolds. He's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be. Khalif Raymond's going to be. You got your guys. No excuse. Yeah, we're not going to have Jamison Williams. Okay. But this team is not good against the pass. Get in there, pass the football, get it done for sure. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they got a decent defensive line. I feel like our offensive line's better. I think Jared Goff will have time in the pocket to be able to distribute the football, get it done that way. And I think lastly for me is you got to score in the red zone, get touchdowns. They stiffen up Jacksonville Jaguars in the red zone. That's something that they get better. They're a bend, not break. We got to be able to score touchdowns. Why? Because we just seen why on Thursday. We took a field goal instead of a touchdown, and it burnt us. And if you say, oh, it's different, Trevor Lawrence can score really quick. He just shown that in the Baltimore Ravens game. He had a minute to go. I think it was 80-some yards, scored a touchdown, got a 2-point conversion. So to me, on offense, of course, you got to run the football, but I feel like Goff's got to distribute the football. What about the Lions' defense versus the offense? What are a strategy that we should be doing defensively against this offense?
I mean, this is a team who love and are very good at running the football. I don't know. I mean, this is a team that decided they could get rid of James Robinson because they no longer needed him on this team. And, Travis Etienne has performed really well this year. He had the injury last year, but he seems to have started off incredibly well. And he's having a good season. And that's kind of what they do. They run the ball well on you, and then they complement it with Trevor Lawrence and his passing game. And I must say, Trevor Lawrence looks like he's becoming what we expected him to be. I've been quite impressed with him recently. Some of the clutch throws he's made. You mentioned the 80-yard drive there at the end of the Ravens game. There were some clutch throws in clutch situations. He showed that he got the calmness, the experience. I think that's like his fourth winning drive already or something like that. I know it's a year and a half, but still, in some of the teams they play out there, that's quite impressive, to be fair. So you've got to be willing to play hard against these because it's hard to get at Lawrence. I can't believe I'm saying this, but their offensive line's been pretty good this year. They make it hard to sack him, and they run the ball damn well. They've got good variety of tight ends in there, running backs who block, who do the dirty work. Like again, Etienne, he loves doing the dirty work in there. He's really good at it. You've got tight ends who get in and block. I think they're a little bit like us in a way, in that they're very, very physical. They're physical and they run the ball hard on you. And if you can't answer it, they'll just keep doing it to you. So defensively, that is kind of where we have to go to start with. We've got to try and stop Etienne running the ball off us straight away. And then you've got to try and find a way to show different looks and exert pressure on Lawrence, because he's a guy who will pick you off. He's very, very talented. So you've got to be very disciplined. Don't lose your man. Don't give him too much room on the field. He'll find them. Stay in your rush lanes, because he'll run the ball on you if he needs to. He doesn't do it often, but he's got it in the back pocket. So, yeah, defensively, you've got to be so careful here. They've got a mixture of receivers. There's no superstar in there, but they have speed. They have guys in the interior who are going to hurt you. And again, threat out the backfield. You've got to be careful for that. Lawrence himself, as I say, he will roll out the pocket. He will go on runs. You've got to be prepared to see a whole lot of looks, because this is a dynamic offense. Like I say, maybe not the household names in it, but someone who does a little bit of everything. So you've got to be careful of everything.
Let me know in the comment section, who do you guys got winning the game? Put L for Lions, J for Jaguars. I'm curious to see what you guys got on this bad boy. I do have my breakdown video that will be dropping on my personal channel tomorrow, so get ready for that. Very interesting, because I think, again, like I said it in the intro, the assumption is it's Jacksonville. They're not good. I was shocked when I went over the scouting report that I made of how good that their offense is. It's very similar to ours, nearly in every category. It's kind of shocking. They do got some weapons here, and I think we're going to be pleasantly shocked, well, unpleasantly shocked, that they can move the football on Sunday. We got Paul Ginder, L, Robert, Lions, Chrome, Lions, we got it, Lions Rumble. What up, Lions Rumble? Lions win, 9 drinks. Chrome, what up, doe? They got a guy there, Zay Jones, wide receiver, 6th year in the NFL. Last week, 145 yards on 14 targets and 11 receptions. Trevor Lawrence throws it away a lot. They got a lot of Jones over there. Obviously, you got Marvin Jones Jr. He's still good. He is getting it done. He's the one that caught the 2-point conversion, I think, and the touchdown. I don't know if it's Zay Jones or Marvin Jones, one of the Joneses, but he's still good. The return of him. They got Jamal Agnew, specialist. We all know who he is. They also use him as a wide receiver. And Christian Kirk, who is a good wide receiver who they signed in Arizona Cardinals. I think Jeffrey Okudah needs to be on Zay Jones at all times. If that's what I'm doing, I'm pairing them two together. And Jerry Jacobs on Christian Kirk. And kind of mix it around there. Trevor Lawrence is mobile. That is going to be a problem, because it has been our Achilles heel all year long. Now, he's not looking to run on every down. He's not that type of quarterback. But if it's not there, he's going to run. He's fast. He's big. He's lengthy. He's like a gazelle with his legs. That sucks. Why do we always have to go against mobile quarterbacks when our defense is terrible? James Houston, we'll see what he can do again. He was on with the Josh Allen there going after him, so that will be a fun matchup to see. What's an X factor in this game that you have, whether it be Lions or Jaguars, the subscribers should pay attention to?
I think a lot of the emphasis, a lot of the X factor is going to be on our defensive line on this one, because I think they're going to have a lot asked of them in this. I mean, interior-wise, first you're going to have to defend against the run. You're going to need to find a way to collapse that pocket and get through to Trevor and, get him out the pocket, because, as a pocket passer, he's amazing. He's really good. When you start forcing him out, when you start forcing him into throws, that's when the mistakes can start to happen. And I think, that's going to have to be a big part here. And then the edge rushing wise, you've got to find a way to get at him and make him uncomfortable on the day, because I feel like the Jags are a team where if they are successful in the run against you, that's fine. But if you can keep Lawrence quiet, then they become eminently beatable. I don't think the run game's going to smash you on its own there. So I think the D-line's going to be the X factor in this. I think you've got to be, again, aggressive against them, and you've got to be willing to face a lot of looks off this team. It's not the flashiest in the terms of names whatsoever, but again, it just does a little bit of everything, and you've got to be careful. The linebackers are going to need to have a day and a half. That's what the Jags did against the Ravens. Zay Jones, you said he got all those touches. Well, the amount of times he managed to get in the middle of the field and was just in acres of space, he just blitzing their linebackers all day long and having them on toast. And he got a lot of his yards through there. So they're going to have a great day as well. But no, I think it's the defensive line for me. I mean, you saw like what they did against the Giants. They helped us win that one because of the shift they put in against Saquon and then going after and sacking Danny Jones and getting the things in. You've got to do the same here. And I think they can. I think you're at home. You're going to have a raucous atmosphere there. I think you're going to be pumped. I mean, you've just taken the Buffalo Bills right to the very limit. It is critical they perform in this game. Remember what happened when we played the Vikings and we threw it away at the end. We had some of our worst games of the season after that. That Patriots game, I don't even want to remember some of the guff we had to go through after that. They've got to mentally be prepared this time. Come back, put it behind you. You can win games. This is an eminently winnable game if you show up and do your job. So yeah, that's the thing that's the big thing for me with this one.
Dr. D in the building. What's up, man? I'm not mad. I'm a little bit of focus. Been busy day, and I like it when it's busy. Just go through everything you got to get through and be squared away there. X factor for me is going to be the linebackers stopping Trevor Lawrence from running with his mobility. That is for sure what I'm looking at. I think we'll do decent in the pass game. I think the defensive line is do his job. But can they make it to where Trevor Lawrence is not getting those critical first downs on third downs with his legs? That's what I'm watching. Don't let it happen. Because if that keeps happening, we keep losing. That's exactly what Josh Allen did on Thursday. Yeah, he threw that big pass, but he also got 10 yards right afterwards. And those are the things that are killing us. So I'm watching, can they make him not run for a change? Let's do score prediction really quick. Then we'll go to the chat here for Mailbag. We went over this game, offense, defense. Didn't really do special teams. Who really cares? I mean, it matters, but I'm not going to really go over it. Who do you got winning in this game? What's your score prediction? And everybody in the comment section, do your score prediction and why.
See, this one's really tough for me because I do quite admire the Jags and the way they've gone about their build. And I do actually quite like the team and the way they've assembled it. But, I mean, this team has given me reason to believe in it again. And I don't think the season's over yet. I think there's more wins here. And I think that we are not finished. I think we're going to sneak this one. I think it's going to be hella tough. But 26-24 Lions. I think we just sneak this one out the bag. Home advantage gives it us.
If Jags fans, you listen to this, whether you're in here live or after the fact, I do see the comments in there. I give your team a lot of kudos. Again, I went over it. I like what you guys doing. I like your rebuild. I do got the Lions winning this game, though, 27-21. I think after the Thanksgiving Day game and the showing that legitimate grit that we talk about, the legitimate feisty that's in this team, I think they're going to come out rolling, and they're going to come out fighting. Have a solid game from the offense, solid game for the defense. They're going to do their job and win the game. Unlike on Thursday where we're worried at the end, I'm going to be like more of the Giants and the game before that. Not too worried. Lions win this one, but I still like the direction of the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they're doing there. I just think we're at home, and this crowd's going to be loud. It's going to be difficult. Trevor Lawrence has been playing well, but I think that we're just going to be a little bit better in this game. Also, before we do go to the Q&A, I want to ask you about this. I don't know if you've seen this. You see all the Lions that are ranked for Pro Bowl? Very interesting that they had Deshaun Elliott. He's ranked 7, and Kirby Joseph ranked 8 for safeties. And then you got Aidan Hutchinson in there as well. I think he's 6 for edge. Isn't that just like Kirby Joseph getting the love, Deshaun Elliott getting some love? What do you think about that?
It is nice to see the players getting love. Yeah. I mean, because usually because for example, who was the top tight end in the NFC? just happened to be T.J. Hawkinson over Kittle and that. Does he get that nod if he's in Detroit? I feel like he doesn't.
There's no
I feel
way.
like because he's a Viking now. No, there's no way he's the most voted for tight end if he is at Detroit. He's in Minnesota now and he gets the gong, or he's there at the minute. But it's great to see our young players. It's like, screw the Pro Bowl. Me and you watch this team. We all watch this team. We know how well this team is playing, and if people want to ignore it, then that's on them. Because in a few years' time, they're going to be like, yeah, maybe I should have given it a bit more respect. But I'm surprised Penne isn't up there. To be
That
fair,
shocked me. Like, he was 10.
I feel, yeah, Penne's like a top 2 right tackle in the league right now. I mean, who am I thinking is better? Like maybe Tristan Wirfs is better. He's in the AFC as well. He's not even in this side of the conference. So I'm like, yeah, that's a complete and utter. I don't agree with that at all. Penne is a lot better than that, but Detroit, everybody hates us.
Yeah, I seen the Panay thing, and I said, "Oh, that one is ridiculous right there." And then Jamal Williams wasn't even on the list. Dude's got 13 touchdowns.
No, 13 most rushing touchdowns in the league, and well, people just go, "Oh, but he's not got like 2,000 yards to go with it." They just look at box scores. They don't realize how critical his performances have been to us this year. He may not get the fancy 100-yard games, but what he does get is bloody critical. And he gets touchdowns in critical situations. That should count for something.
I take 7 points over, a 100-yard game and 0.
Oh yeah, of course. Jamal Williams is never going to be a consistent 100-yard a game running back. That's just not how he is. It's not his style. He's ground and pound. He's there to get those like awkward 50, 60, 70 yards and a couple of touchdowns that you really need, and that's just fine. That's what he should be.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, it's time for you to run the channel if you got questions, whether you are in Facebook listening. If you're on my Facebook channel, go to Lions Nation Unite where you can comment. It's not going to be able to comment on mine. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and put hashtag Lions, hashtag something, and you can ask any of us a question. Detroit Lions, NFL Draft, whatever you want, it's your time to shine. That in the chat too. Happy anniversary. 27 years married today. So blessed. Go Lions 31-17. Well, congratulations on 27 years. It's a long time. We got Dr. Troy 24 years. That's a long time. It's a long time.
I've been married as long as I've been alive, pretty much.
Oh, that's facts. That's a long time. That's for sure. Bold prediction, Detroit 43, Jacksonville 23. That is a butt whooping, that is for sure. Okay, we got our first question. Hashtag LNU, how many wins you have for the rest of the season, and where will that leave us in the draft? I said 7-8 to start the season. I'll put 7-8 still. I'll do 7. I'll just go 7. And that would probably leave us, I don't know, 15-16. What do you got there, Ant-Man?
We're going to twonk the Bears. We're going to twonk the Panthers. I reckon. Green Bay, maybe. I see 7 or 8. I mean, I think this is a really big one. This is a really big one. But I see 7 or 8 still and picking mid-teens for us. And I see the Rams been all the way up at 2.
Man, if you see all the teams with 4 wins, you'd be shocked. It's like all the way from.
I think you can go from like 3rd to 15th with 1 win. Yeah.
Good.
You can go from like 3rd to mid-teens in 1 win. So
it all just depends. It's weird. J-Mo's not going to be playing, John, on Sunday. Hashtag FGB. Do you think we should let Jameson Williams sit till next to make sure he's full healed? No, I just wait till I sit until he's 100% healthy. Whether that be. If that's next year, fine. But if he's 100% healthy in 2 weeks or whatever it is, I'm perfectly fine with him coming back. But it's got to be 100%. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree?
Oh, no, I agree. You've got to wait till he's ready. But if it's this season, you've got to give him snaps in the league.
Yeah.
There is no substitute for NFL game experience. You can put him through camp next year all you want and whatnot, but I'd sooner have him playing snaps at the end of this season just to get his feet wet. And so when he comes into next season, he's got that experience because we're going to need him. So sitting him achieves nothing for me if he's healthy.
Tone Loki, I'm late to the party. Is Jamo going to play? No, it doesn't look like he's going to play. He predicted 31 victory. If we pressure Trevor, we will force him to throw interceptions, and we will win. That is definitely what you want to happen, and we do got some players like Kirby Joseph that can get those turnovers, and Aidan Hutchinson apparently too. So yeah, man, that's what you do here. That is what you do here is you get pressure and you get the interceptions. That's the whole point. Hashtag ERE is a question for Ant. This is for you. Hearing everyone talks about drafting all defense, where will they all play? We have 11 spots open. Hutch, Pascal, Aleem, Barnes, Rodrigo, Acuda, Joseph. Thanks. So if we go all defense with the 8 picks, like a lot of people want, what do we do with all the other players that would get benched?
The thing is, you need depth. I mean, you can't just really have a starting 11. You've got to have depth as well, especially at those defensive line positions. I mean, tackle, you need another starter there, really. I love Bugs. I love Kamish. I love the guys in there, but you've got to have someone else. You need someone else on the edge, especially with the injury to Harris, and you don't know what's going on with Romeo. You've still got spots at safety. You've still got spots at corner. You've still got spots at linebacker. Good teams need depth, so that's where they go. I mean, I've never been a proponent of all defense. We need a guard, we need a quarterback, we need a running back, we need offensive line depth. I wouldn't go all defense myself personally, but if you did, then like I say, you need depth, and that's where they go. You don't just classify them as starters and that's it. Especially on the defensive line, you've got to have rotation in there and high level rotation.
Oh, someone's really mad at me. Someone is mad at me, so I had to take a screenshot of that. All right, here. Let's continue on. Where do you see Brockers as far as a roster spot? Do we keep him or release him? Also, do you see any of the recent acquisitions being signed after the season, i.e. Shark or Elliott? Michael Brockers ain't coming back next year. Oh, man, we got a fake account here. We got a content creator who is upset. Oh, my, hey. The victories
been upsetting now, Mike.
The victories make you mad, fake account. I know you're who you are. My victories taste good compared to your failures. Just an FYI. Brockers, not coming back. Shark, I don't believe is coming back. Elliott, I don't think he's coming back because of what you have in Kirby Joseph, and obviously we lost Tracy Walker to IR, who's going to be in there as well. If I miss your comment, just repost it. It's because I missed it. What do you think about that?
I'm pretty much with you. Brockers is gone. I'd be all for cutting him now. He's missed 5 games in a row, healthy scratched. I'd just do it now and get it out of the way with. The rest, I'm not so sure. For me, you've got to keep improving your roster. That's not taking anything away from what Deshaun Elliott has done here in Detroit, but you can go into the draft and get an upgrade from that, and keep building stronger. We've had so many of these guys in the past who've come in. They've been good players. We've grown an affinity to them, but they ain't really the future here. And that's kind of the vibe I get. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like we need to keep upgrading, keep going, keep seeing what we can find, and because we want to get to the playoffs.
Smash that like button, folks. Let's get to 50 likes. We got 115 in the building. I think 5-0 can get it done. It's free to do so. Help the channel out. Again, I'm going to miss your comment, and I really do apologize. Just copy and paste it. Go up there. Just copy and paste it. I'm not trying to miss it. With the Lions cap space, who's the #1 target would you go after in free agency, Tone Loki? Me, I'm going after Roquan Smith. I want to upgrade that linebacker spot immediately with a veteran. not just with a rookie, but I want a veteran. I'm going to get a rookie too, but I want to get that veteran. Who do you got as a number one target in there for you?
Oh, see, I'd maybe be in that linebacker market as well. I think is it Deion Jones is available. I'd be all over him like a rash for this team. We need another inside linebacker. That would be where I go with it. So yeah, we've got Malcolm, we've got Barnes, we've got the good young core there, but we need the highly experienced vet to go with them. Even though Anzalone's trying everything he can in his power to win me over at the minute, and I felt a tiny bit tempted at times, but no, I'd go after Deion Jones.
Yeah, Tez, I wasn't saying they're going to cut him now. I was talking about next year. They're not obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you need him for depth just in case of injury. So
Donald thinks Swift is coming back next season since Jamal Williams is doing so well as of late. I think Jamal Williams should come back after what he has done as a leader and getting the touchdowns. He's been consistent. He's not the most dynamic running back for sure, but he's been healthy. He fights. I have no problem with him coming back as, another 1 or 2 year deal. What do you think about potentially bringing back Jamal Williams?
Oh, I 100% bring Jamal back. I'll give him a good deal for next year because he's shown how critical he is to this team. And then I'd go out and draft a running back to replace Swift. I really would. So Jamal and a draft running back next year.
Hashtag LNU. How do you rate our draft class of 2022? I'm going to give it an A for sure. I think right now, start off, I can see where people are potentially having issues there, where they gave it a C or whatever, which is perfectly fine. But now when you're seeing it, Aidan Hutchinson looking really good. You got Joshua Pascal when he was injured, looking decent when he was on the field. Obviously, you just continue on, and it's done a good job. Kirby Joseph, James Houston, he's had some moves there, so I'm liking it. What grade would you give this draft class right now?
See, right now, I'd probably give it a B. Because there are some aspects, we've not been able to see one of the top picks out of it yet. And Pascal, it's been hit and miss so far. Obviously, I really love what it's done, and I love the production we're getting out of it. But I'm one of those guys, I don't like to really start grading draft classes till 3 years in, because next year is going to be huge as well. We're going to need these guys to take the second year step, carry on producing, become real cornerstones on this team, and that's a big test for a draft class. This point this year, they've got a lot of freedom to just come out, play their game, do their things this year. But when expectations start going high, how does it withstand them? But I'll give it a solid B plus for now. I'm very happy with it.
For sure. Here, let's see. I know most Lions fans don't want Will Levis, but he's growing on me if we pick Will Anderson or Jalen Carter with the Rams pick. So he's saying if he would fall to the Lions with the second first-round pick there by Don Burr. Interestingly enough, I was listening to a couple podcasts, PFF, and they keep saying this, that many organizations believe Will Levis is better than C.J. Stroud, and because of his, his body type, but still, I like to see production on the field. What do you think about bringing Will Levis in here with, we pick 13 right now, if that's the case?
I hate it. And this is from me. You go back to my college shows at the start of this year, and I was a massive Will Levis stan. But I was huge on him. But like you said, Mike, I've not seen the production in college that I want from him. His Kentucky team lost to Vanderbilt. He had the opportunity to have a game-winning drive in there, and he just flopped. He didn't look any good. Even since his star running backs come back, his running backs ran that offense, not him. He's looked bad. And this draft class is so littered with these guys. Anthony Richardson is another example who I see so much talked about, but he's bad. He really has been bad this season. He runs a lot and he throws a pretty pass every now and then, but You are picking these guys based on their traits, not anything they've done in college. You are simply picking them because of what they can be and not what they've shown. And I prefer my QB to have shown me in college what he can be and see the development there. There's only Bryce Young who's worth a damn in the draft this year for me. The only guy who's really truly done it. Outside of that, you're making a lucky guess. And I know that's the thing with every draft, but guys like Levis and Richardson, when you're picking them just on development traits, that's dangerous. And I don't subscribe to that. So it's a no for me.
I'm going to give you one more warning to that troll account. You guys can't see what he's really posting. It's actually coming up on here. It's pretty disgusting. Yeah, you got one warning. You keep doing it, you're going to get banned from the channel because we don't talk about that type of stuff on here, and it's uncalled for. So just giving you a final warning there, troll account, then you'll have to make another one, and you'll just get banned there. So it is what it is. Do you think that 9-8 will make the playoffs with the tiebreakers over the Giants and Commanders? You know, it's interesting because the Giants are starting to fall off a little bit, but the Commanders are getting better. I don't think it will. I think you have to get to 10 wins. And the Commanders are looking good. They're on a win streak. It's going to be difficult. 100%.
I see the entire NFC East getting in there at this rate.
Oh man, we got my guy right here, Spencer Raxter. Love this guy, Spencer Raxter, Woodward Heavyweights. They're my favorite show. Their show is at 5 p.m., so in about 17 minutes. When this is done, I want every single person to go over there. Spencer Raxter is the GOAT for sure. And Speakeasy. Love those guys. Love what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful
100%.
show.
All right, you done, bro. You're done. I had enough of the fake account. Where are you at? All right. You are done. You're hidden from the channel. I'm not going to play that game. Not going to do it here. Someone says the Lamar Jackson. Would you bring Lamar Jackson in?
I mean, yes, but I feel like the kind of whole point of this rebuild is to rebuild it through the draft and do it right. And I feel like you're giving way too much draft capital up for him. I think you're going to mortgage it. I mean, look at what the Broncos just did with Russell Wilson. They've screwed their future. I know he's a lot older and he's not young and maybe not as good anymore, but that's the risk when you put so much draft capital into one player. And for me, I feel like we've done it right through the draft. I feel like we go and get our guy through the draft, build this team naturally and do it right our way, because then we get the security of the rookie quarterback deal. We maximize our win window. When you pay him Lamar Jackson $250 million and more, you are narrowing that window. So just personally for me, no. I think he's a fantastic player. He's great, but I just want our franchise to spend its picks in the draft and do it this way, not that way.
And look, this is, I see Michael Lede, don't speak about it. Hey, this is a forum. You got any questions, you just put hashtag and we answer it. So that's what this is all about. So put a question in there, whatever you want. Antonio Jenkins, hey Ant, how do you feel about Anthony Richardson, probably the most widely debated quarterback in this year's draft? You know, like you either love him or hate him. He's one of those guys. What do you think about Anthony Richardson?
I don't hate him. Let's just put it that way. I think he has all the intangibles to be a great quarterback, but I don't think he's shown it in college yet. For me, I've been screaming for him to go back and return. He needs to go back for another year, just like Tyler Van Dyke needs to go back for another year. These are incredibly gifted guys, but they just ain't ready yet. And I feel like it's too much of a gamble for this franchise to take someone like that, especially with such a high pick. You're going to go with the high upside development guy. You get him in the second or third round of the draft this year because there are some very talented guys around. You don't have to spend that elite pick to get similar. There are plenty of guys who you can sit in red shirt. So I love him as a player and what he could be, but not now. He ain't ready. He's not even close to being ready.
The Packers waived safety Jonathan Abram. Should we pick him up? Got waived. TA, hit me up. What do you think about bringing him in?
I think he's been a bust everywhere he's been, hasn't he? Isn't Abram the disgraced Raiders safety?
Yeah.
I'm not disgraced, but I feel like they picked him ridiculously high and didn't get the return for him. I know that's what the Raiders do, but no. I think at this point, let your young safeties cook and go safety in the draft again.
If it removes Will Harris, yes.
Keep doing it. Oh well, there is that. That did piss me off the other day. I'm not going to lie. In the Bills game, there was a part of me. You get that nervous twitch in your eye when it starts moving and twitching. Every time his name's mentioned, I have that now. He does not deserve another snap in Detroit, and I just don't get why they persist in forcing him on us. It's terrible.
Dr. D, I don't know if he'd be ready. That's probably not, but I'm not. It's hard to tell until you get a guy in the practice facility with the coaches. I don't know. I would give that to the coaches. I'm not one to say yes. I'm not one to say no. Because there's quarterbacks you say, there's no way this guy's ready. Then there's quarterbacks that you think this is ready and is not. So it's just one of those things where I don't know. What do you think, Ant-Man?
He's just not been good this year.
Yeah,
he's been really, really poor. And he's got the intangibles. He's got the arm. What I loved so much about him, I thought he was like a proper Detroit quarterback. He's tough as nails, takes loads of hits, keeps getting on up, keeps making plays. But this year, he has been poor, really poor. And I'm sorry, I'm not taking that. Not right at the top of the first round. You've got to play better than that if you want me to, give you a first round pick.
If Harbaugh lets Lamar go, what should that tell you? One of the best coaches in the NFL stopped the Lamar talk too much money and has not proven himself, and he's a running quarterback, not a mobile quarterback. Terry Hoffman. I think he's going to demand a lot of money. He's going to get a lot of money. I don't think he's going to walk in free agency. I'm going to be 100% with you. There's no freaking way he doesn't get franchised tagged.
Oh, that's it. They'll fifth year him. He's not even had his fifth year yet.
Yeah.
So he'll be fifth year, franchise tag. That's 3 years you've got left until you have to do something with it. The franchise tag gives him a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, he probably is going to ask for 50 or a little bit more than $50 million a year.
And that's what I mean. I just feel like that's too rich, and we're going to have to give up every first round pick until I somehow manage to grow hair again. That's how long it's going to be until we have a first round pick if we trade for him. So.
Hashtag LNU, how far does Hendon Hooker fall in the draft because of his injury? Or is he's not going to be an undrafted free agent? I think he does fall in the draft. Third, fourth round. I know a lot of people think still second. I think he falls. Undrafted, there's no way he falls as undrafted rookie. I think, man, look, if he's at day 3, you pick him. I don't care if we took a quarterback at 3. I'll still take him.
I'll double dip. Yeah, I'll double dip. I think the odds of him going to early day 3 are high because of his age. The age was always going to work against him. And unfortunately for him now, he's going to have no part of the pre-draft process. No pro day, no combine, nothing to be able to show off the scouts with. So that is going to be a massive problem for him. So, yeah, it's day 2 minimum at the minute, possibly day 3. But I'm with you, Mike. If he starts slipping too far into day 3, I don't care whether I've drafted Bryce Young or whatever. I'll draft him as well.
That's just value. It's like that would be absolutely ridiculous to do that.
Exactly.
That would be just absolutely stupid. You could sit Richardson behind Goff for the remainder of his contract. This kid has raw talent. You could do that. I mean, that's an option. And Brad Holmes was scouting Anthony Richardson. If they feel like, hey, we could get him second round. You got 2 second round picks. But then the problem is, if you're spending it, if Anthony Richardson declares for the draft, someone will pick his traits early. They did it with Trey Lance. Someone will pick the traits. And if you're going to sit him, you're going to be paying Jared Goff $30 million a year, and you're going to be paying the first year of that rookie contract. You are going to have a lot of money at quarterback that season, and we need that money in free agency this year to start advancing this team forward. I don't see Goff being the type who will, because everyone goes, oh, it's an Alex Smith situation. Alex Smith was an ultimate model pro who, because of his injuries, probably realised that his time being a starter was done. But
I don't see the same transition period with Goff. I don't. And I'm not spending all that money on him and then to sit a guy behind him. Because if I go do that, I'll just go and get one of the 2024 quarterbacks who probably will be better anyhow. So
That's a problem, and this relates great turn of questions because this is exactly that. Lions will pick a quarterback in 2024. Drake May. The problem with 2024 draft is I do believe the Lions are a playoff team next year. They're going to make the playoffs. If you're going to want to get if you're wanting to get like one of these top quarterbacks in next year's draft, you would have to trade up. And, I mean, if you do look what they did over there in San Francisco with the Trey Lance trade, you're giving up a lot to move up. That's the risk of waiting for next year, right?
Exactly. And I'm telling you, this is the draft where if you want to draft a development guy, you can do it in round 2, and you will be absolutely fine. You don't need to do it with your top 2 picks. They can go on defense or wherever. I truly and honestly believe that.
I got to say, I trust Brad Holmes in the way he looks at talent.
I do too.
It's worked out so well. So whatever way he goes, I may not like it fully, but I'm going to say, you know what? He knows what he's doing. So far, so good with the draft. Was I upset this last year that we didn't get a young, even an undrafted quarterback? Yeah, I thought we could have, but, beggars can't be choosers. Yo, was Bugs on a one? Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal, Kool-Aid and cornbread. That's what he's still on. They may bring him back on a low contract 1-year deal. Prove it, 53-man for next year. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it. He's just a depth guy. I still think like a Jalen Carter, if they want to go breezy, someone like that to get a really good defensive tackle. I think that's a solution there, and you can bring a Bugs back as a guy in the mix for 53-man roster. Right now, he's being used probably more than we would like. That's for sure. How many sacks do you guys think our defense gets Sunday? I believe 5. Paul Ginder, I hope you're correct. I'll say 2 sacks. Or you know what? I'm going to switch that to 1 sack just because he's mobile. What do you got?
Yeah, I'd say 3 max. I feel like they'd be coverage sacks, if anything, so...
Overtime through and through. I don't understand why people hate Stroud. He has an even higher ceiling than a majority of quarterback prospects in this year's draft. Just sit him behind Goff for a year and let him develop. I don't think people hate him. I think they're worried because he has a lot of weapons around him. Obviously, the college that he comes from. And if you look at the Michigan game, I didn't really see him go deep a lot.
He's choked in the only game that matters 2 years in a row. I mean, I'm sorry, but in the Big 10, you make it all about the big game. That's all it's about. That one game defines your entire season. No, but that's how the league is formed. They create scrub schedules for each other to face off that last week of the year and decide where it goes. So if you can't show up in the big game, I'm sorry, it is an indictment on you. He has round 1 receivers flowing out of the system for him. He had 3 last year. He's probably got another 3 this year. You name a Bryce Young receiver this year. Name 1. You can't. He's not got the talent around him, and he's still done the damage. When Stroud's throwing into 15 yards of separation every single throw, it's easy. So, I'm sorry, but if you can't do it when it matters, then you can't be considered that higher draft pick. That's why I'm not there with him. They had their chance to beat Michigan the other day. They had them on the ropes. They didn't have the mental toughness nor the capacity to beat them. And Michigan rallied and beat them down exactly like I said they would by 3 scores. It's indicative of your quarterback. Your quarterback each team. I don't hate him.
QB too.
Or I don't hate him, but I think Bryce don't Young like him enough to spend the big pick. Oh, Bryce Young's the guy without a shadow of a doubt.
And then there's a step down.
I ain't spending a top 3
Stroud.
pick. Yeah, I ain't spending a top 3 pick on CJ Stroud. I don't think he's that special. I don't know what I'm going to get from him when his back's to the wall and he ain't got those receivers to throw to, and I need him to make plays, sensible ones. 3rd down and short this season, that team is in the hundreds in terms of its efficiency. In the hundreds. They're horrible. I need a guy in clutch situations who can convert, and they can't. I'm just sorry.
If
I'm
they
not
draft
spending the
Stroud,
top three
I'm
pick on
not
that.
going to argue about it. I'll trust. I
He's
don't
our
hate
guy.
C.J. Stroud.
He's our guy.
Um,
If they draft him, he's our
yeah.
guy, and I'll back him 100%. But personally, I just do not see it. Not
He's
even
not
close.
as mobile as you'd think. I want a mobile quarterback.
No.
What do I think about Will Levis? He's a guy that will get your GM fired. He could be he could be good because he's got the physical attributes, but he's just not shown wins and big-time plays in college. That scares the hell out of me. It does. I want to see he does remind me of is a Mitchell Trubisky. He's got all these attributes, but it's like a guy that don't know. If they go that route, again, I'll trust Brad Holmes, but he scares me as a prospect. He scares me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like picking a quarterback just because of his intangibles.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. I like to see that he's done it in college. You know, I'd sooner go after Grayson McCall this year because at least I've seen him do it and I know what he can do. Whereas Will has go and watch the highlights of this Kentucky team this year. He has been poor.
I know.
So
He's
you've
got
to
a
take
great
that
arm. Like he does have
he
that
has
Matthew
a
Stafford
cannon. Yeah,
freaking cannon.
and
He does.
And he's got the same attitude.
Yeah.
The hits he takes and gets up from. I said Detroit quarterback before this season. That's why I really liked him because I thought he's got the physicality, the toughness, the grit. He is the guy you want on your team. But I need to see it via the eye test as well. For me, when I'm ranking prospects and when I want to invest a pick in him, and I've just not seen it on tape. And I've tried to give him every chance in the world. I've given him more leeway than other quarterbacks because I like him that much, but still has not delivered.
You can fall in love with this guy's arm talent. He's physical, like the size of Josh Allen. He's got the arm talent of Matthew Stafford, but when he plays, it's like Jay Cutler sometimes. It's like, oh man, it's the guy that gets you fired. But he's one of those dudes. I don't want to say Zach Wilson. Like you looked at Zach Wilson as pro day, you're like, man, this guy's great. But he's a bust, man. Like I don't want that to happen to us. That's my fear. That's all I gotta say about that. I'm not saying at all Will Levis has got the mindset of Zach Wilson at all. I think Zach Wilson's immature child, Drew Lock mindset. But he's a guy that you could love, but it's like, oh man. So I don't know. We'll wait. He scares me. I'm not like PFF, though, making him my #1 rated quarterback. I don't believe that's the case at all. Do you think Stafford's season is over? I hope so. I want a higher draft pick. What do you think? Do you think it's over?
In all seriousness, I hope his career's over. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but he's talking about how he's losing feeling in his legs, how he's having all these issues with the concussions he's having. And, he was here for so many years. You're invested in him, his family. He's got a young family. He's got young daughters to go home to. I want him to be healthy in the long run. And he's taken a lot of tap in his time. And I hope for his sake that he retires, goes home, calls it a day, take his ring with him. He's nothing left to prove. Go and enjoy your time with your family and have fun, Matthew. Don't keep doing this to yourself. Not for that trash-ass organization.
He's not a fan of that organization, folks. He's not a fan. But what we're a fan of is talking about Roar the Lions UK. Talk about your channel and why people need to subscribe.
Well, let's say we're the British version of the Detroit Lions YouTubing community. If you want to come and check out a new channel with new views, new ideas, the way we see things in the game and everything, then come and give us a check out. Let's say Roar the Lions UK. You can find us on all socials, YouTube, Twitch, all that, etc. We usually go on Mondays doing review games from the weekend. Wednesday, tomorrow, myself, I do a college football podcast, look at all sorts of prospects, the games, etc. Obviously, championship week's coming up, so it's a fun time at the minute. And then on Thursdays, we do game reviews as well. So, if you fancy something a little different, come check us out. We're not too bad.
For sure. I appreciate everybody hanging out for the day. Again, subscribe to Roar of the Lions UK. If you go to the heavyweights, tell them that Mike sent you. I agree with you, Don. He could be a Josh Allen type of player. He's that guy that just scares me. That's it. I'm not going to say he's going to be a bust. I'm not going to say he's going to be fantastic. He's a coin flip, I guess. He could be one of those guys where it turns out to be a fantastic pick. Definitely could be. But with that said, folks, adios.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.